Do you know the story of Darth Binks? Do you understand its significance? No, you do not. The galaxy does not speak of him. The Jedi erased him from history. Even the Sith whisper his name in the shadows. But I knew him. I trained beside him. I saw his potential. And I watched as he orchestrated the greatest deception the galaxy has ever known. The shadow behind the throne. The Jedi, in their arrogance, believed they had uncovered every Sith plot. They thought themselves wise, their senses keen, their knowledge absolute. Yet they never saw the true architect of their downfall, the one they mocked, dismissed, and ridiculed. A simple Gungan from Naboo. But behind that mask of incompetence lay a mind as cunning as Bane's, as deceptive as Sidious. Darth Jar Jar. The Jedi, and even the Sith themselves, were blind to his presence. He moved in plain sight, underestimated, and ignored. His influence wavering through the galaxy like an invisible specter. And when the final act of galactic tragedy was set in motion, it was his hand, hidden in the shadows, that guided fate itself. Long before the Clone Wars, long before he was known as Jar Jar Binks, he was something else. A student of the dark side, plucked from obscurity and molded into something far greater. Palpatine found him deep in the swamps of Naboo, not by accident, but by design. Tor Valum, the ancient Sith entity lost to history, whispered secrets of a hidden prodigy, a creature dismissed by all, whose true potential lay in his deception. Sidious listened, and when he found the Gungan, he understood. Here was a being who could move undetected, a Sith Lord without a mask, without a need for secrecy, because no one would ever take him seriously. He trained in the shadows, learning the Sith ways, mastering the art of misdirection. He did not need a crimson blade. His power lay in manipulation. The Jedi thought him weak, but they were blind to his true nature. They mistook his acrobatics for clumsiness, his absurd speech for ignorance, and his mistakes for incompetence. All of it was an act. The Battle of Naboo was no mere planetary conflict. It was a test. A stage set for Darth Jar Jar to play his role, to embed himself into the Republic, to become an indispensable pawn in the rise of the Sith. Every stumble, every awkward encounter, every foolish moment was intentional. He maneuvered himself into Queen Amidala's inner circle, planting himself at the heart of power. He was there when Naboo fell into chaos. He was there when Palpatine ascended. He was the perfect agent of disorder, the silent harbinger of the Republic's doom. He convinced the Queen to plead for the Senate's intervention, a move that propelled Palpatine's rise to Supreme Chancellor. While the galaxy focused on Sidious, the true mastermind stood behind Amidala, smiling with vacant innocence, a masterstroke. With war came opportunity. Jar Jar, now a trusted senator, wielded influence no Sith before him had ever possessed. He did not need to raise a blade or command a fleet. His power was subtle, more insidious. When the time came, it was not Sidious who granted Palpatine supreme authority. It was not Dooku, nor Grievous, nor Maul. It was Binks. With a single speech, the galaxy's fate was sealed. He stood before the Senate and, with careful, calculated foolishness, proposed the Emergency Powers Act. He played his part well, stumbling over his words, acting overwhelmed by the moment, feigning ignorance to the consequences. And the Senate, blinded by war, applauded his motion. With their approval, Palpatine became Emperor in all but name. The Jedi never suspected him. The Republic never doubted him. They saw a fool, not a Sith. And by the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. Order 66 was merely the execution of a plan centuries in the making. The Sith had long sought the destruction of the Jedi, but their methods had always been blunt. Wars, assassinations, brute force. Jar Jar understood that the Jedi could not simply be slain. They had to be discredited, weakened from within, so that when the killing blow came, it would be final. He stood by as the people of the Republic, once protectors of the Jedi, cheered their demise. He watched, silent and satisfied, as the temples burned and the greatest warriors of the Force were slaughtered like cattle. He had done what no Sith before him had achieved. He had made the Jedi irrelevant before he had them destroyed. The Empire rose, and the Sith were victorious. But what of Darth Jar Jar? Where did he go when the flames settled? When his work was complete? Some say he disappeared into the Outer Rim, watching from the shadows as his designs bore fruit. Some believe he remained in the Senate, a silent overseer of the Empire's birth. Others whisper that he allowed himself to fade into obscurity, his task fulfilled, knowing that his legacy was eternal. Yet perhaps that is the greatest deception of all. For the Sith do not crave recognition. They do not seek credit for their victories. They seek power, control, and above all, the complete and utter destruction of their enemies. And in that, Darth Jar Jar was the most successful Sith Lord who ever lived. The Jedi never suspected him. The galaxy never knew his name. And yet, without him, the Sith would have never triumphed. The Jedi were never defeated by force. They did not fall to an army, nor to a single blade. They fell to deception, to manipulation, to the power of an enemy they never even realized they had. Darth Jar Jar was not a warrior. He did not fight on battlefields. He did not seek glory. His weapon was not a lightsaber, but something far deadlier. A lie. He was the darkness behind the throne, the unseen hand that tipped the scales, the true master of the Phantom Menace. And as the galaxy burned, as the last remnants of the Republic crumbled, as the Jedi were reduced to nothing but scattered myths and forgotten tombs, the greatest Sith Lord in history stood amongst the ruins and laughed.
Me, Jar Jar Binks.